G'day my friends, Marty here from Marty's Garden, and today's video is all about why I'm all in for zucchini this season. And I want to share my experiences with zucchini. Been growing it for quite a long time, had some success, had some failures, and I've learned some really cool tips and tricks that I'm going to share from my journey with you here today, growing them at home. And I believe it's what they call the homesteader's way. Now, they aren't so great for pots. They get pretty big and can get top heavy, but you can grow them in containers. But I've got a special way that I love to grow them here at Marty's Garden. You see, zucchini are a shallow rooted plant. They don't go down really deep. And so they can struggle when there's a lot of heat. And they don't like it if it gets too dry. So it's a tricky thing. You've got to have the soil moisture just right. I found when it was raining a lot, actually some of the roots rotted and we lost some of the plants. And we've got these nice two big zucchinis here growing in my raised birdie bed here. And I mentioned in some other videos about learning homesteading techniques so you can survive through these oncoming times. And one of the first tips I'm going to share with you that you may know already, some of you hardcore gardeners, but all these, I think it's the cucurbits family, all the flowers are edible. Now, the zucchini has a nice big flower. In parts of Europe, they actually, have a look at this. They stuff the flowers with a feta cheese, which I think is really cool, and then just fry them quickly. I think this might be a deep fry. Never done it. Love to give it a go. That was a big male flower. And so you need the male flowers obviously to pollinate the females, and you know, you need good bees and insects and things. Ants will do it the same thing as well. Now, second thing about it, if you're a homesteader, now come with a little walk with me. They produce a lot of big leaves, and there's a lot of reasons why. I'll just pick that big leaf off just then, and we'll head over to the chickens. You see, after the chickens eat their organic, certified organic pellets, free range pellets that I give them, they love to eat a bit of greens, and it's a bit early to let them out yet, so they just smash it. They love it. They love that big zucchini leaf. Now, the big leaves, before we get into the growing a little bit, well, this is sort of about the growing part. The big leaves actually are fantastic in the garden because they supply, like, they really shade everything down below, and you can actually put other little plants that underneath that when your zucchinis are finished will help shade at the start from sunburn and things, and then will come up later on as you remove and finish the zucchinis. So they work really well in that, and they stop, you know, like other weeds and things that are getting in, and the sun just sucking out all the evaporation. Now, I mentioned about, we'll head over and have a look at this other bigger one over here. I mentioned about zucchini being a shallow rooted plant. Well, that makes them perfect for bale gardening. And if you've been watching my channel, you can see that, like, this is a bale here, and once it cures and gets a bit older, we put compost on top, let the compost soak in a bit, and once it starts getting wet, we can start planting into it. This is actually a bale around the outside as a barrier of this internal bale garden. So I've been picking zucchinis daily, and you can see here, see that little zucchini forming there? So in these type of like bale gardens like this, or in a raised bed, a shallow raised bed, as long as you keep the moisture right, they perform really well. They love having that extra drainage just fall away and that sort of very humusy stuff. I find that all the cucurbits families, the cucumbers, pumpkins, zucchini and all that, they love it. Now we've been very lucky. We haven't had any sooty mold or anything on these, even with all the rain. And if you do find it, you just, I think it's 1 part to 10 milk, spray on it early and get it on there. And you can see these new leaves coming through. Now there's some ants here, little tiny ants. Can't see them, can't see those ants, I'd say. But we've been picking zucchinis from here every day. Now we did lose a couple of plants in the rain, so they start getting this. You can see this. The leaves get old and we need to take them off. So what I do is I pick them off. And the microphones, we've lost a microphone at the moment. One is broken, so we're using the microphone on top of the camera. So hopefully all the sound's coming through, everything really good. Now, these leaves, I find, they break down super fast in the sun. And I just throw them in the chicken coop. Chickens scratch them in and a whole lot. But man, you got extra plants like this. This is a great leaf to compost and feed to your compost worms. There we go. Some more in there. So yeah, great plant for that. And I wouldn't leave the leaves sort of on site, just fall down and rot too much. I pick them off and move them. Don't rip them off like I did so much. You might want to actually just use a pair of old scissors or secateurs, something like that, and work with them. So I find that they grow really, really awesome in these bale situations here. And the big one at the back was planted first. These two were planted later. And then up here, we have a couple more up near the chook shed, which I'll give you a look at. So you can see we've walked around and we've got so many flowers, male flowers. We could actually come through and grab half a dozen, maybe 10 flowers, something like that, if we've already got enough zucchinis as well. I'm going to use some of the female flowers, but use the male flowers and try that as a really cool European homesteading trick. Now, I'm going to give it a go. I just got to get hold of some feta cheese and have a shot at it. So let's just break this down before we go. They're a shallow rooted plant. If they get too wet, the roots are going to rot. Because they're shallow rooted, if they dry out too quick, they sort of wilt and you'll see the leaves closing together, and they do get too hot, the leaves do wilt. They're just protecting themselves from the heavy sun. They perform really well in shallow, free draining areas, and they do pretty good in raised beds, as you see. I'm sure there'd be a zucchini in here somewhere down here. Hang on, let's have a look. Let's have a look. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this thing. Oh, monster zucchini. Twist it off. Oh, look at that baby. Now that may have gone just a little bit too far. The thing is, zucchinis, when they're dark like this, they just hide. I knew there'd be more. I've got to hunt through and find some more. Like I said, we've been getting zucchinis every day. Now, I look at it, if you're eating a lot of them, you know, you need to have a few plants. But if you grow a few more, as I said, the leaves are really good. They cover the ground and stop that sort of like bare soil being exposed to the sun. And if you grow them in shallow areas and then just use the leaves and throw the leaves around in the compost systems and things, and feed them to worm farms and things like that, and feed them to your chickens, they're a really awesome, awesome plant. Now, I think this has probably gone a bit too far. What do you reckon, guys? But if you're hungry, you could eat it. Anyway, that's enough for me here at Marty's Garden. If you're liking that video and you'd love to see how we cook these things coming up in the future, well, we dice them up, cover them in a batter and deep fry them, and they are just absolutely just the bomb. All right, I'm Marty Ware from Marty's Garden. Have a great day. Happy gardening. We'll see you at the next video real soon. Bye for now.